you keep doing it in some way.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your abundance, and the abundance gonna come, and it's gonna come, it's gonna come, it's gonna come. You stuck with it.
Yeah, so for both of you, what advice do you give for people that are involved in the music industry or trying to get into the music industry? Like, I know you got the folks probably coming up behind you and you seem to be trying to break into it for a while. So what advice do you give them?
I'm afraid I couldn't quite hear the question. It's pretty.
I said, what advice do you give to folks that are trying to break into the music business? Because, like I said, I know both of you have probably got people that are behind you that are trying to do the same things that y'all are both doing. So, what advice do you give to folks that are trying to break into the music business?
On my end, I tell them, I let them know exactly. I'll be like, man, this music industry is, it's hard, but if it's something that you love and it's something that you want to do, then do it. Don't give up your day job. If you gotta have some kind of money coming in into, music, making you money. Like you say, once you get on all these platforms and your music getting played and getting a few, because you can get checks off music. You can get checks off from iTunes and all those different places. But like you say, record sales going down. People not even jamming albums anymore. They're listening to playlists. They might, you might make a whole album, get one song jam. So, I kind of tell people, hey, man, if this is what you want to do and you feel like you're talented, because can't nobody tell you what you are but yourself. If you feel like you're talented enough, then go try it, But just like I tell them, if you don't have no big connections, don't quit your day job,
Right.
And
you got to be smart about
it.
Well, I always tell people to remember that it's not music that you're going into. If you're just going to do music, then you'll be at your house playing. If you want to be in the music business, then it's a business, and it's not just music.
Right.
So you have to put at least as much time into the business part of it, whether you want to or not, as you do to the music. They're both. It's like one side of the coin is music, and the other side of the coin is the business. And unless you have both sides, you don't have a coin. So it's if you're not but I know I have a lot of good friends and they're fantastic musicians, but they just don't want to do the business side because it's just not fun for them. They don't want to do it. So I mean, I understand, but the reality is you got to, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere.
You're not going to make it. Right.
Yeah, because that's something that I've talked to several friends about. It seems to me that it's kind of like I have a good friend of mine that talks about promoters, in music promoters, and he used to be the rental manager at a local theater, a 1,000-seat theater here. But he told me that everybody was a promoter until it was time to cut the check. And then when it's time to cut the check, not as many, some of the promoters dropped by the wayside because then they had to pay him and pay the bills and everything. So everybody's a promoter until they've actually got to get out there and cut the checks and do that. And I find that even with the music business, that a lot of times, they call it show business, and there's a reason for that. A lot of people are masters at the show part, but as you just said, Grant, a lot of them don't want to deal with the business part at all.
It's for real. It's like James Brown said, when he came into the game, he said, man, if this called show business, well, I'm going to be the one put on the show, and I'm going to do my own business. And he found James Brown started there, being independent, And like you say, to me, the easiest part is recording.
Yeah. That's the music part.
Writing and recording, the music part is easy. Like, you got to get out in the field, and, you got to put your money behind yourself, and work, man. Shit. And it's what it is.
No doubt.
It is what it is.
Do both of you have day jobs? Because I know that's the other thing that a lot of times people get frustrated by is that they want to go into the business, but then the day job will get in the way, whether that's working at a fast food restaurant, whether that's working in retail, whether that's doing teaching, whatever the day job is. But I know a lot of times, a lot of people will try to get into the business, and the day job will get in the way. So I'm imagining, Grant, you travel all over the world, and you're a Grammy person, so I'm thinking you probably don't necessarily have a day job, but I think Scoob does. But do you have a day job, Grant? And if so, what is it?
No, I don't. I did until about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So nearly all my life I've had one, even since I was like 12 years old, raking leaves and digging holes in the ground. But I'm lucky enough now where I don't have to, but it's tight sometimes, real tight. And
yeah,
you can't. I mean, unless you really get to that point, you just can't quit the day job.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and that's like my plan right now is, I'm like, okay, I got my day job. Now I'm going into my savings. I'm going to my savings scheme to where I can invest in my music more and save more money. So, when I do get ready to take my step away from the day job, like you say, I want to be able to be all right, man. I don't, like you say, because it can get tight, man. I know it can, Yeah, I know it can,
So, Grant, at what point did you decide that you were just going to go to the music full time? You said you did it 2 years ago, and what was the driving force?
Well, I reached the point where I had to, otherwise I couldn't go any further, because I work every day, like all day long, and it's not just, I mean, it's mostly business, not music, but you got to carve out time for both, and I just didn't have enough time working, and luckily I had enough money in reserve that I could focus on music. That's a pretty rare thing. For most musicians don't reach that. It's very hard to do, but I got lucky.
Yeah, you took your time. Now you got blessed.
Yeah. I'm blessed.
Yeah, you put your work in.
Because how much time, when you were doing that, how much time did you put into music and how much time did you put into the business? Was it 50-50, Grant, or was it 75-25?
You mean when I had the job, or when I had the day job, or now? When I had the day job.
But boy, Desmond said hi, man. My boy Desmond said hi, man. I'm up here at the job, man.
Hey.
You speaking. Hey, he spoke back. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It was one of my friends,
okay,
man.
Cool. When I had the day job, it was mostly music and only a little bit of business, because, I had a day job, and the business you got to do mostly during the day. There's some clubs you can call at night, but mostly your work is all day long. So that's why I was not going to get anywhere, because I couldn't focus enough and on doing the business part of it, which is, trying to do promotion, do a lot of PR, go to TV show stations and radio stations and all that, and push the record that I made last year. And if it weren't for that, the record never would have gone on the Billboard charts. I never would have got it up to that level. It just takes an enormous amount of work.
Yeah, and that's the part that that's the part I'm looking forward to. So right now I just got me a publicist, and she the one got me on this station. Shouts out to Nikita Eastern Middleton. She doing her thing with Eastern Public Relations. Man, everybody check her out. But that's my first step. To that. So I know. That's my next move. It's gonna be all business, man. And it's gonna be all about the music. That's the hardest step. Like you say, it's the hardest step to take right there. But
it's hard. You got to find the balance too. You got to balance because you can't be all business. Then you're not a musician anymore. That's the hard part. You got to find that balance where the business doesn't ruin you as an artist. But if you get to enough point, you can hire somebody to, like, as you get more money, you could hire like a PR guy, like I have, and that's helped me a lot. And then you'll have a manager. Then you'll have, exactly, someone to promote what you've done and do all the tweeting and all that stuff you got to do, and send out press releases and get you booked on radio shows and TV shows. I mean, if I had to do all that myself, I never would be anywhere. So that's great. You're on your way.
PR, but I just got to give me a manager there. But I got a PR girl. She like I say, she got me on the radio. And you know what? I was dealing with a fraud for a minute. I was dealing with a fraud for a minute. They were sending me stuff, but they would tell me they'd get me in the magazine and stuff like that, but it never happened. But this lady here, she gave me 30. She put me right on. She said, "I'm gonna get you on the radio station." She got me on the radio station before I signed the contract. Then I had one Saturday.
Well, that's great. Yeah. That's great. That's maybe something to mention to the people that are trying to get in, is that you got to watch out. There's a lot of people who just make money off beginner musicians, They don't do anything for you. They just take your money. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, they know
really
you get because they know you hungry. Yeah, you know you have
exactly.
And I got
they're selling you on a dream, and they're just taking your money.
Yeah.
So Grant,
I got caught up in it.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned one scoop, but what's the worst case you had, Grant, of somebody being? You found out later that it was not actually having your back or everything. So what was your worst case, Grant? I'm sure you've had one. You've been in the industry for a while. So
like 3 years ago I had one. It was a guy who was claiming he was going to book me in all these shows, and it cost a bunch of money, and he'd book me in 0 shows, none.
None.
And I could never get the money back. He just disappeared. So you got to be really careful.
I've heard that. I've heard that quite a bit. People that are told to send money to somebody, and then the promise that they will get something in return. Now, I've always been told, whatever the industry is, whether it's a visual artist, an actor, or whatever, never to give that money up front. I've even had friends of mine that have been cautious of even some of the big modeling agencies, because some of them, not saying all of them, and I won't name them, but some of them ask you to send a whole bunch of money up front, and some friends of mine in that industry are like, no, we're not going to fall for that, because 9 times out of 10, you'll send them the money, and you'll send them, they may create a headshot, they may not, and you'll be lucky if you get 1 or 2 gigs, if that.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, a lot of the people that if they're asking for money up front, normally that means that's how they're making their living. They're not going to get you anything in return for it. If they want a cut of your actual income, that's way better, because if you don't have any income, they're not going to get a cut of anything. So
20% of zero is zero.
Right, exactly. So you want to have someone who's willing to put some skin in the game. If you got to pay all the skin up front and they don't have any risk on their side, that's a danger sign that it's probably not a good deal.
Yeah, that's the red flag I missed on the first one. And I was like, just excited, and they came at me like, this is the game they came at me with, like, hey, I only have this many slots, but a friend of mine know you, and they mentioned you and really liked you, and so I'm saving you a slot. So, you're excited because you think you got a slot, and then nothing happens.
Right.
Right,
exactly.
Yeah. So, shady promoters, man.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some shady promoters out there. There's no doubt about that at all. Definitely want to continue the conversation. I'm going to do that in a second. But, Dean, I think we need to put out one of the ads, because I need to check on that crazy cousin of mine to see why she hasn't called, because she's a native dancer, and I need to find out where she's at.
I'm going to have to roll, guys. But thanks for having me on your show.
We appreciate you being on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man.
Hey, man, good luck with you.
There's this call,
spreading that
Grant.
love.
And Grant, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Oh, probably the best way is my website, which is my 3 names, Grant Maloy Smith. So it's GrantMaloy SMITH.com. GrantMaloySmith.com. And you'll see everything there, everything you need.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot of great information, and we love seeing you perform. I know that you sometimes even perform, like you said, up in Carnegie Hall in New Jersey area where Dean is at, and you're in Rhode Island. So, and hopefully we'll get you down here to the south and around North Carolina, because there are a lot of good venues around here we have a lot of good folk singers around this area. So we need to get you here to team up with some of our folks.
Sounds great, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate Good luck to you all.
All right.
All right, great.
Bye-bye.
Did I hear the bell ring again?
You heard the bell ring, and then the bell just bounced off. We're going to find out who's on the line in 1 second.
Are you enjoying the smoothest conversation in podcasting? Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Hi, this is DJ Smooth Jazz, syndicated radio host and co-owner of Portfolio Group LLC, your smooth jazz lifestyle and entertainment group with offices in Durham, North Carolina. Portfolio Group LLC specializes in promoting the lifestyle of smooth jazz listeners with the promotion of smooth jazz events and the distribution of African American owned wines. For more information, portfoliogroup.llc.com, or you can swing by my secondary site, djsmoothjazz.com. Now back to Straight